All right, all right, all right. Welcome back. Welcome back to week number 2 of the Ales and Assets Power Hour Real Estate Show, where we are here to answer your questions, whatever they may be. I am here to answer your questions. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. Last week was my first time on the old uh, real estate power hour, and I was a little nervous. I After I got done with the show, I realized that there was 18 or 20 minutes of me talking with music on the background. So, today's a lot better. There's no music on the background. I started the show on time, and you know, and I'm still here. Week number 2. I came back for more. Um, but before we start, I just want to say that this Sunday, there is going to be an Ales and Assets real estate meetup where you can come in person, ask questions to other real estate investor people or people that are just passionate about real estate as well. And so it's going to be at the Duck Foot Brewing Company. Yeah, we meet every third Monday or every third Sunday of the month. And sometimes we have guest speakers and other times we don't. But feel free to come out, grab yourself a pint from the Duck Foot Brewing Company people, and sit down and let's talk real estate. Ask your questions, whatever they may be. We have answers and stuff like that. So so I've been doing this now. No, let's see. So 7 days. It's probably been 7 days since I started really being committed to putting myself out on social media, doing this YouTube live, and sort of going through the motions and getting used to it, coming up with some sort of routine. And I didn't know if I would have any questions or anything like that. I didn't know, if somebody would be curious about stuff. But thanks to TikTok, I got 2 questions this week. And so I'm excited about answering those. And I already answered one of the users on TikTok. I replied to him. And the other one I was thinking about for a little bit because it was an actually good question. And I wanted to make sure I gave it a really thorough answer. And so let's see. Let's go to one of the questions right now. And I don't know how many people are on here, but if you got questions, feel free to put it in the chat. I'm gonna type a little message in. I'm just trying to get used to the platform right now. I'm really digging this. My camera quality is a little bit better. I found a trick with that. So I'm happy about this. And if you're watching this on the replay and you've got questions and you weren't able to make it to the live, because I know a lot of people, I know a lot of people want to be here, but they're probably working and they can't be here. Feel free to drop a question in the comments or in the chat, and I will get to it the next live, because I will be here again for week number 3. But hello, ask your questions. Yeah, I want to see that. Boom. I just put it in the chat. Look at that. This is amazing. Okay. So the first question that was asked, let me see here. It was from a TikTok user. NBS Jesus asked, do I need to put 20% down to buy my next primary if I already used an FHA loan? And so let me dive into that for a minute, because I know that when I've talked to especially first-time home buyers or younger people that are thinking about getting into real estate and are just setting out on their journey, exploring their avenues or their options, my first go-to is this: always look at 4 units and below. You can use an FHA loan. You can use your VA loan if you're a veteran or part of the military. 4 units and below, also called multifamily. So I always recommend looking at that first, because if you get your multifamily, right? It's a little bit of a buyer's hack, right? You get your multifamily, you live in one unit, and you rent out all the other units. So they're paying for most of your mortgage. But when you're ready to make the next jump, after a year, and you're looking at trying to get a primary house, right? You could actually just go ahead and refinance out of the FHA and the VA loan and get into a conventional loan, and then go ahead and reuse that VA or that FHA loan for your next primary. And the way you would want to do that is you would want to go in and buy a 2 bedroom, 1 bath house, and then live in that for another year, maybe year and a half, however long, and then go ahead and refinance out of that, get into another conventional loan, and then use your FHA loan to jump into maybe a 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and then do the same process, and then jump into a 4 bedroom, 3 bath, and build your way up. Um, the reason why I say build your way up is because sometimes if you go ahead and you go from a multifamily straight into a 4 bedroom, 3 bath, and you're trying to do this like little buyer's hack that I'm talking about, the institutions, the financial institutions or the banks, they sort of are going to look at you and think, well, why do you want to go from a 4 bedroom, 3 bath to 2 bedroom, 1 bath, or, vice versa? Because you're already in a big home. You've already got enough room if you're going to start a family or whatever the case may be. So it raises a little bit of, red flags here and there. And so basically the way I look at it is multifamily first, then 2-1, 3-2, 4-3, and up like that. Little bit of information about the FHA is that if you have a multifamily already, this is sort of where I'm trying to, figure out personally about myself, because I want to keep on building multifamilies out, right? And I was under the impression that I would be able to use my FHA, then go to my VA, and then go back to my FHA, and then go back to my VA, just by refinancing out and getting into conventional loans. But there is a distance limitation too. So if you have a multifamily already and you're looking at getting another multifamily within, the same area that you live in, they're going to frown upon that. It's going to be difficult. There are ways around it, but it's going to be difficult to get. So basically, like if that's your case, like the rules of the FHA is anything 100 miles, you can reuse, or you can use another FHA if you have a current one as well. So there are little things here and there that you might want to be aware of and so forth. But it's a great tool to get you in at 3.5%, especially in the California and higher price market areas. It's going to save you some money on your down payment and stuff like that. I know that a lot of people are like, um, oh, hey, thanks, Sean. Sean, bro, thanks, man. I just saw your comment right now. I appreciate you, bro. Angel, dude, I love it, bro. What's the difference between a hard money and a conventional loan? That's right. Hard money is pretty much well used for short-term lending. You never want to get into a hard money loan for a longer term, because hard money loans have points, they have a higher interest rate, and it's really made for like fix and flips or rehab or anything like that. A conventional loan is going to be spread out over 30 years. It's going to amortize over 30 years. You're going to have a lower interest rate. And so it's more of it's more for your traditional purchasing, where a hard money loan, you're strictly looking at just for fix and flips, maybe a burr, but something that you're going to want to refinance out of after 6 months, or at least 12 months. You're never going to want to hold it longer than that. What do you know about entitlement use on VA loans and using it on multiple properties? So basically, I'm in that boat, right, Sean? I have my VA loan that I have in my pocket. And what I'm trying to do is I was using that for my next primary. And the way I was looking at it is this, man. I wanted to stay in that primary for maybe a year, year and a half, then refinance out of it and use the VA loan again. Because once you refinance out of it, you get your full entitlement back. But your entitlement, like let's say that you have, I'm just going to throw numbers out there. Your entitlement, you have $600,000 of entitlement on a VA loan, right? And you bought a house for $300,000. And then all of a sudden in another year or 2 years, you want to make the jump to another house. you still have $300,000 left of that $600,000 entitlement that you can use. So the 600,000, if that's, I'm just tossing around numbers out there, but the $600,000 that is it, you got as your VA entitlement, it doesn't shrink or get bigger. It's just, if you want, if you can break it up into, you know, different properties, you can go that route. So like if you bought a house for $575,000 and you had a $600,000 entitlement, you'd have 25,000 left of that entitlement. But when you refinance out of it, you get the whole entitlement back, because now you just turned it into conventional loan and you can reuse it again. And the same thing with the FHA loan. Benefit of the VA loan, it's 0% down. And so, you know, that's sort of why I'm looking at using that as well. Dude, thanks for the questions, man. This is awesome, bros. So anyways, but yeah, so that guy asked me that question and I was totally stoked, because you know, I like to see that he was already thinking about it. I just wish that whoever his real estate professional was, when they first had their meeting together, they would have sort of explained that to him, because he probably would have refinanced when the interest rates were a lot lower, sort of like I did. Because when I got my FHA loan, I got a 2.1%. I knew right after a year that I was going to refinance out of it. And so I went ahead and refinanced when it got up to about 3.3 something. And so now I have a conventional at 3.3. Speaking of interest rates, I've said this on my TikTok before. Don't be afraid of the interest rates. I mean, everybody I've talked to, like, here's the two biggest things when it comes to real estate. People who own homes are afraid of renting them out because they don't want to deal with tenants. And people who are buying homes or looking at selling their home and then trying to buy something else, they're afraid of interest rates. I personally, I'm not afraid of interest rates, because here's the thing. If I am buying a property and I am looking at eventually renting it out, my tenants will be paying my primary, my mortgage, my interest, my taxes, everything. So whatever that interest rate is, my tenants will be paying for it. And if I'm jumping into another primary house, I still am not worried about my interest rate, because I am more concerned about the housing price than I am ever concerned about the interest rate. Because if you wait, right? Wait, what's that saying? The best time to buy real estate was yesterday. The next best time is today, because real estate prices are always going to increase. I mean, look at the last 2 years, right? The appreciation went bonkers. But dude, exactly, date the rate, marry the house, bro. Dude, exactly, man. And that's why I don't worry about that interest rate bullshit, because if I buy the house that I like and I get it at today's price, in 5 years it's going to be worth more. But I'll guarantee you what, that interest rate's going to fluctuate, and when it drops lower than what I currently have, I'll just refinance out of it and get the lower interest rate. So for all you people out there that are like, oh shit, the interest rate, dude, don't fear the interest rate. Buy the house while the prices are good now, because I guarantee you in 3 to 4 years, you're going to be looking at that house you were thinking about buying today and think, fuck, I should have bought that shit 4 years ago. You know what I mean? So do yourselves a favor. Don't fear the interest rate. But also, like, you know, like for all you young people out there, or the people that are just trying to get into buying houses for the first time, or you know, looking at real estate for the first time, dude, start really thinking about multifamily. Start thinking about how you're going to set yourself up, because the way you want to look at your properties are like little piggy banks, right? They're going to appreciate, they're going to gain equity. And in 5 years, you're going to be able to use that first house you bought to buy maybe 2 or 3 more properties, or at least use it for something that, you know, is very important to you in your life. Whatever that is, whatever your goals, whether that's starting a business, or I don't know, maybe a taco cart or something. I have no idea, but you can look at those little properties as piggy banks and go from there. So that was really cool experience getting a question like that. And I actually replied to that guy on TikTok. I didn't go into as much depth as I am on this, but it was really cool just getting a question. So I was stoked about that. My other, what was the other question? I got a second question, and this one took me a little bit of time, because I wanted to really think about this, because there was a lot there was a lot to unpack with this question, even though it seems like a simple question. It was from CPT Engineer One. He asked, "When will the industry, meaning the real estate industry, move away from commission-based sales and into flat rates? He sees it coming." And I thought about that for a minute because, to me personally, in my opinion, you're never going to see the real estate industry move away from commission-based sales. And I'll tell you why. Because a good real estate professional will work his or her ass off for you, and they deserve that commission. Now, there are brokerages already out there doing flat rate fees. Okay. And I guess if you're looking at a flat rate fee, a pro would be you already know what you're going to pay that person, regardless the price that you sell your house for. Right. So that's cool. And usually, from what I understand, the flat rate fee is anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000. So basically, you already can calculate, hey, look, the most I might be able to pay is $5,000 for a flat rate fee. But with that flat rate fee, do you get the same type of service? Do you get the same type of consultation, like consultation with the real estate professional? Do you get the hard work, the marketing, all that stuff with the flat rate fee brokerage? I don't know, because you hear a lot of nightmare stories about commission-based real estate agents too. Like, let's face it. It doesn't take a lot to get your real estate license. I said it. I said it. People might hate me for saying it, but I said it. It doesn't take a lot to get your real estate license. If you're a good memorizer, my God, you could probably bust it out in like 2.5, 3 months. Memorize, regurgitate, take the exam. Boom, you've got your California license real estate, or your real estate license. In fact, probably in every state, you could do the same thing, right? But where it comes to is, what do they do afterwards? Like, how do they continue their education? What are they learning? Who are they networking with? What kind of outside the box thinking are they doing? And those are the kind of people that you really want to start looking at. So for me personally, I've been burned by a lot of real estate agents. I mentioned that on the last show. And so for me, now I recommend people interview like 5 different real estate professionals. Interview them. Because if you guys are thinking to myself, or if you guys are thinking to yourself, not to myself, but if you guys are thinking to yourself, man, I've got to pay this guy 6%, which is 3% to the seller's agent and listing agent, and 3% to the buyer's agent. You're thinking to yourself, damn, that's 6%. That's 6% of whatever I sell this house at. What are they doing for that 6%? How are they going to work for it? And the most easily one is like, are they going to answer my phone calls? Because Jesus, I don't know about you guys, but to this day, I call a lot of real estate agents because I'm currently looking for deals on market, off market. So I go direct to agent, I go direct to seller. And my number one pet peeve when I go direct to agent is if an agent doesn't pick up their phone. I shit you not. There was one agent I called, and it was at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, my time. And he told me to call him tomorrow because he only works between the hours of 11 and 4. And I was thinking to myself, shit, does your seller know that you only work between the hours of 11 and 4? I'm like, you're trying to sell a property. I'm calling up because I'm literally interested in the property, and you're tossing me off to tomorrow. What if I go out and I find another property later that night? You just missed out on a sale. So my number one thing is interview real estate agents. Interviews all real estate professionals. See what they're going to do for you. And here's another thing. Commission is negotiable, people. Like, just because it's 6% doesn't mean that you have to pay that agent 6%. If you want to hire that agent, you can negotiate the commission. You can say, hey, look, I only want to pay 4% commission. It's not a standard fee. It's a standard commission rate, but it's not like set in stone. It's not unnegotiable. But I think most people out there are just under the impression that, you know, hey, it's the commission rate and I've got to pay this. This is how it's always been done. Almost like tipping. When you go out to a restaurant, do you feel obligated to tip? I don't know. For me, I used to be a server, so I don't necessarily feel obligated to tip, especially if the service is shite, you know? But if the service is outstanding, I tip way above what the percentage is because it's service based. It's not you're not obligated, okay? And I'm that made me that might make me sound cheap, but I'm not cheap. I just like good service. And when I'm out and I'm spending money at at an establishment, you want good service. And the same thing for a real estate professional. You deserve the best kind of service. So, as far as them going commission based, no, I don't see it because a real estate professional that is worth its salt, like worth their salt, is deserves that commission because you might not see, and a lot of real estate agents don't make it look like it's work, but it is work. It is work. Especially when you start getting into the investing side, like when you start trying to wholesale and when you start trying to bring on clients and when you start trying to do, to make deals creatively and all this other stuff, real estate becomes an emotional terrorist because it takes you up and down on a roller coaster of emotions. Like it's the funniest thing, man. I would never have thought, but it does. You get you on the high highs and then you can get down to the low lows. But a real estate professional that is out there working their tails off for you is worth the commission, is worth that 6% commission. But it also means that you as the seller or as the buyer, you need to do your due diligence. You need to ask important questions. You need to figure out, one, if this guy or lady is going to be working hard for you, or are they not? And one good way is ask for references. Like, say, hey, have you ever worked with anybody? Can I get their number? Talk to them. Ask them what kind of deals they've done. Ask them what kind of transactions they've completed. Ask them if they've ever, especially if you're trying to look at investing, ask them if they've ever invested themselves. If so, where, what in, how did it work out? What kind of problems did they run into? I know when I first started out in this, I hunted down who I think was a great real estate agent here in San Diego, and I used him, and he was phenomenal. He helped me out, and I learned a lot from him. And I learned exactly the kind of things that I really wanted to bring to the table for my future clients or my people that I want to help out. And it's all about going through things. Like I know that I've just started this. I've just started putting myself out there. It's not easy because I don't really like to talk about myself or like my wins or losses or anything like that. I'm just not a real big sharing social media type of person, and I'm pushing myself to be that guy because I have gone through lessons. Like I want to create a couple videos on how I got a $10,000 plumbing thing, and what I learned from that. That bill was not expected, but those are the things that you want people to be able to guide you through and help you with, especially before you get into a property. These are kind of things that I would be like, hey, maybe we should check this out. What year was this place built? This is the kind of things we need to look for. We should get this kind of person in here to take a deeper look at some of the systems or some of the structure and stuff like that. But so it's important that you guys do your due diligence and interview, ask the questions, get some references, stuff like that. Yeah. So, that's pretty much, well, like the answer to my two questions, but, or the answer to the two questions that I got. So in regards to uh, future kind of shows, I know that I want to uh, build up a little bit more of a library of things that I've come to find out. So, like, I'm getting ready to take a trip to a fix and flip property that I have in San Antonio with my partner Z. And so I'm going to be doing a whole series on that. I'm going to try to interview my team out there, my, you know, my construction, my general contractor, my real estate agent, all the team that I set up, because that's a huge project when you're running something from a different state. When you're not there, you need to trust people and you need to be able to, count on people and stuff like that. So setting up its team out of state is really important. And so I want to introduce you guys. I'll tell you guys how I found them. I'm going to create a little bit of series on that. I'm also, while I'm down in San Antonio, going to introduce myself to some of my neighbors down there and knock on doors, because I want to, one, put a seed in their head about who I am and what I do. And in case any of them want to sell their property, I want them to think of me first before they think of somebody else. So, it's going to be a pretty cool trip that I want to put things together for you guys, about things that I think that might help you in your real estate endeavor or your real estate journey. Also, if for some reason you guys are really interested in coming out and meeting other like-minded people, like, let me say that you've got let's say that you've got a curiosity for, learning on how to do fix and flip, but don't know where to start, or maybe that you have a property that you just don't know what you want to do with. Maybe it's vacant or something, and you're like, what can I do with this, or what are my options, or anything like that. If you want to learn about maybe short-term rentals, or what it would look like to get into that game, my co-host Mel Adams is phenomenal at the short-term rental game. She's got a few short-term rentals she's running and stuff like that. So, we're a really open, friendly group of people. And our Ales and Asset real estate meetup, which is right there, is at Duck Foot Brewing every third Sunday of the month. You guys feel free to come out. Feel free to ask some questions. Feel free to, just hang out and absorb everything that you're listening to. We were all there at one point, didn't know much. And so it's just a way for everybody to sort of, one, get to know other local people in your community, and have some fun. Have some fun. With that said, I want to give a quick shout out to Marcus David. He's part of the Ales and Assets community. He's also a friend of mine, and he helped me create my new website I got going here. It's pretty cool. We did that this weekend. I just wanted to get something up. Feel free to take a look at it. It's lancetrezona.com, just my first name, last name, all together with the .com. And I'm going to post it in the comments right here. But let me know what you think. Let me know if I should add anything, I should take things off. I love some feedback. I'm going to be putting there's just like a little generic video up there right now, but I'm going to be putting some more content up a little later, switching the videos out and stuff like that. But yeah, I would love some feedback. I would love some feedback. Yeah, should discuss the pros and cons. Nice. Yeah, of virtual real estate. Dude, so virtual real estate. Yeah, that's a whole other ball of wax that is like I said, a little bit intimidating at first, because you're looking at putting money into a piece of property in a market that you're having to research. Unless you're familiar with something, maybe you've got family in, like, I don't know, Detroit, Michigan, or maybe you've got family in Indiana, or in the Midwest, or in you've got a friend in like New Mexico or something like that, like I do. But basically, it's you having to really deep dive into finding a market, and what are you looking for in a market, right? You're looking for commerce, what type of business commerce they have. You're looking for like population growth. What's their major industries? Is there an airport nearby? Like, is this a destination place that people want to go? Is it more of a retirement community? What's your demographics? There's a lot that goes into it, right? And then you have to realize, what is your real estate market? What are the pricings? What's rehab cost out there? What are contractors charging you? What is the price per square foot going for in that market area? What are your different exit strategies? If it's like a destination place, are you going to short-term rental it out? Are you going to, if it's in a metro kind of area, do they have a lot of hospitals where traveling nurses come? Are you going to midterm rental it out? Is long-term buy and hold your best bet? And then if you're in the creative industry, what do you pick this up? You've got wraps, lease options. There's a lot going on there. And you know what? I will do a whole thing about that, because even if you're wholesaling in a virtual market, which is just basically cold calling people, trying to figure out if they're interested in selling their property or not, it's a whole game. It's a whole game. And so basically, I feel like Sean actually brought that up. Um, yeah, yeah. Research the seasons. Is weather going to interfere with the construction timeline? Yes, that is a good thing, because that is one thing I did not take into consideration. My partner Z and I did not take into consideration when we were looking at all our numbers. Man, we were so conservative on our fix and flip numbers for the out of state project that we got going on in San Antonio, but weather was not a factor. I did not factor weather in, and weather has been sort of a pain in our tuchus. But luckily we planned for other things to pop up, so the weather has been sort of taken care of within our numbers when we were underwriting the deal. So I still feel very confident that our deal is going to work out as we expected it to. So, but like I said, I'm going to do a whole thing on that as well. So, but I do definitely want to talk about the virtual markets, because I think that's a really good thing. And I've been into a couple markets now. I've done Albuquerque, Memphis, San Antonio, looked at Detroit, and really did my deep dives into those. So I have some information that I can definitely share with all of you guys. Other than that, yeah, second week on, I don't know if you guys got anything out of this. I hope you guys did. And if you guys are watching the replay, like I said, please leave a question if you have a question or a comment, or if there's something that you would like me to talk about or do differently, that'd be great. I love feedback. Like I said, this is my second one. What up, Sherry? Talk about Detroit and Michigan. But this is my second one. I made a contract to myself to keep on doing these Monday lives to help as many people as I possibly can. I just want to talk real estate. I want to be able to help people. So if you have friends or people that have questions, feel free to come out and Detroit in the house. Feel free to put your questions to me, because like I said, I never want to be the smartest guy in the room. So if you guys stump me, or if there's something that I don't know, I know tons of people, and I'm part of a huge community that I definitely can get you guys the answer to. Nothing's off limits. I definitely love learning. So, if you guys stump me, it's just another way for me to educate myself on maybe something I didn't know or didn't know too well. Okay. With that said, I'm stoked. I'm stoked that we got through this one. I don't know if there's anybody that has any questions for me. Sean, I want to thank Sean. I want to thank Angel, Sherry's. I want to thank Z for coming out, participating in the chats. Love it. Love it. And yeah, man, I want to do right by you guys. So let me know anything that you guys might want to talk about. How does rent to own work? Dude? That's another thing might be called like a lease option. So basically, what that is you are thanks, Sean. Thanks, brother. You are basically how would you put it? You're basically purchasing an option to buy that property, right? So basically what it is like you guys agree on a price. So if I'm the seller and you're the buyer and I'm doing like a lease option to you, right? We agree on a price. Let's say it's like 250K at the end of a term period. So you are leasing the house, let's say for 5 to 7 years, and at the end of 7 years you have the option to buy that property for the price that we agreed upon. That we had set it all up when we were talking about that in the initial, or you would want to set it all up when you're talking about it in your initial negotiating or agreements and stuff like that. I think that's what you're talking about, Sherry. Is that sort of what you're talking about? A lease option? Is that what you're considering? Rent to own? Rent to own work. I think that's what you're talking about, but that's sort of where what I took it as is okay, cool, cool. I just want to make sure I answered. So basically, that would be it. A lot of people, I believe, are under the impression that the money that you pay up front would be what they consider like a down payment towards the house. It really isn't a down payment towards the house. It's what you would consider the purchase for the option to purchase the house at the end of the lease term. So that's where you want to go. And in all honesty, that's how it works. But you can negotiate anything in a contract. So basically anything you can imagine, you can put into a contract, and as long as the seller is cool with it, you know, that's great. So I'll dive into that a little bit more too, and on another one. I'll make sure. Let me write that down. Lease options for Sherry. I like that. So got it written down. So I'll make that other episode. But I will say this to anybody that's still on here. Next Monday, I'm going to have a loan officer, a lender, a loan broker, come on to the show and answer any questions that you have about like lending, about loans, about like Sean was asking about VA entitlements, FHA loan, anything like that, conventional, what you can do with a vacation loan, like where you can use it at, what are the rules, stuff like that. So if you guys know anybody that's interested in talking to a lender, a loan officer, a mortgage broker, I'm gonna have one on next Monday's live. So feel free to put all your comments and your questions in the comments, or even if you want to come on and ask a question and be on the live, let me know and I can send you a link and we can set that up so you can actually talk one-on-one with her. Her name's Adriana. So you can have a one-on-one conversation, sort of ask her the questions personally, and and get some pretty good consultation from somebody I actually use that works with me on my properties and stuff like that. So anyways, yeah, I think that's it for the day. I'm gonna end it on that high note. I'm gonna thank everybody for being on. And just real quick, I just want to see how this works real quick. Oh, hell yeah, look at that. Okay, now I just learned something. See, how does rent to own work? Look at, and Sherry's pictures up there. That's amazing. Okay, see, I just learned something new. I'm gonna look at this. Sean, I put your pic. Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. Love you, Sean. See you at the Ales and Assets meetup, bro. Look at this. Angel. Hell yes, man. Got you and the kid up there. I appreciate you guys for jumping on. Jumping on. Look at that. Oh, Z. Jeez. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So, anyways, I just want to say it's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. And I can't wait to do it again next Monday. Yes. All right. Week number 3 coming. You guys, I appreciate you. And you guys have yourself a beautiful night. All right. Bye-bye.